All right, time for a little arts and crafts for everybody out there. If you study any kind of system that uses or bases its methodology off of places where things like this are the primary edged weapon, you need something you can train with and train with effectively. If you use aluminum trainers or hard plastic trainers or things like that, you can develop what we like to call training scars. And one of the big ones that we see come out is that in point-driven methodologies, people are stopping short because they're used to training with their partners, and when they don't want to actually injure them. But so they develop this weird habit of their stab that it's short. So you lose like all your power and everything out of it. It's a poor training thing. Now, what I'm about to show you how to make here today is nothing new. Lots of guys have been doing these for a long time, but you might find it useful and might give you some ideas. So let's go ahead and get into this and how to make yourself something that you can simulate a good old-fashioned prison shank with and not hurt your training partners. So what we're going to need is some pipe insulation, some zip ties, and some tape. Nothing complicated here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to section off a little bit for a handle, like so. Now give yourself a little bit extra here and a little bit extra here. This is going to represent the point. Well, you'll see what we're getting to in a moment. So let's go ahead and cut ourselves off a piece there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut off a little bit more because we're going to want to be able to fold this over the top of our handle, and we want to leave a little bit of an airspace in there. That just gives you a little bit more compression. And so we size that up. So what we're getting is this. Now, yeah, it's big and bulky, but we're going to tape it down a little bit. So to keep things secure, we'll take a wire tie and we will put this on like so. And pull it nice and tight. All right, nice big old soft piece there. Take another wire tie, do the same thing a little bit lower so that we've got this nice and secure on our handle. It's a little bit fussy, you got to play with it, get things situated so that you can easily zip tie this down. The only reason you can do this with just tape, I just use zip ties because, well, I always have a bunch of them laying around, and they work really well for this kind of stuff. So nip your zip ties, and when you do this, don't cut them at an angle. Try to cut them as flush as possible so you don't create a sharp edge that can cut through anything. And if you have to, take a really sharp knife and just kind of trim that extra off there so that you don't have any kind of protrusion that could injure you or your training partner. And as you can see, I cut those really, really flush so that you can slide your finger over there and you don't feel anything. And like I said, it's not gonna break through. So then we get our old friend duct tape. Duct tape is I don't think there would be martial arts without duct tape, tell you the truth. And what we do is we just pull a nice long strip of it. I like Gorilla tape. This stuff is, it's just really durable. Now, starting at the bottom of your shank, we want to put it long ways like this and press it down, get it secure. It doesn't have to be particularly tight yet. Now here's the key part. Squeeze this so we get that little bubble there and pull it over and get that nice and secure. So we have this space. Now, personally, I like to mark the stabbing point a different color. So what I will do is I will take some red duct tape and we will simply go over the top like so. Get this on there nice and happy and secure. And now we'll go ahead and this is one of the problems with duct tape. It always sticks to itself. Great stuff, but you know, is what it is. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull this tight, again compressing that tip so that we have a really secure grip so that this hits, but it's not going to do any real damage. And we'll just, you know, go over it a couple of times, compress it in the other direction so that everything is covered. And this doesn't have to be pretty or anything. We just need it to be functional and safe. So we now have a big red bulb on the end of our shank. We go back to our duct tape and we put this at a slight angle so that we can add some stiffness and some compression to the handle, because we don't want this to flop all over the place. It's not fun to train with things that don't feel like they have any substance to them. Like, you know, those hollow plastic nunchucks and things like that, how badly they kind of, well, you know, they just don't feel right when you're training. So, you know, something like this, give yourself a nice little bit of a grip there. And now what I like to do, because this stuff is always slick, I just take some athletic tape, some grip tape, and I like to go around it with a couple of wraps. Again, compressing it just so you get a little bit more body to it, a bit more, you know, strength. And what you will end up having is an excellent trainer for point-driven knife arts. That could be, you know, anything from Keating's Drawpoint to Medusa to just, you know, good old-fashioned Picalle FMA style training. And it doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. You don't have to go out and buy a super expensive custom-made trainer, because we're not practicing stabbing, or we're not practicing slashing, forgive me. What we're practicing is simply stabbing. So with something like this, which, yeah, it's a big Q-tip and it's kind of silly, but you can really put this onto your training partners and, you know, actually train what it's like to use something like one of these. So have a good one out there, and hope this gives you some ideas.